A good time, not a long time today, which is probably my least favourite saying. And I will say, I think one of the most common things that people say on dating apps, which I'm unsure of why that's a good thing to say. Anyway, I have 13 minutes of fun to share some knowledge with you, answer some questions. Right, I'm just getting them up. It's very cold today. What's up? Hey, Rich. That was a very strange way to say hey. Okay. Oh, I can't start with that because I don't actually have an answer for it, but maybe people can comment this. What do you wish you knew at 16 to 17? A very specific age. What do you wish knew at 16 to 17 that you know now? I don't know because I don't think I think when a lot of people ask the question of like, what would you tell your younger self? And normally it's like an old person being like, don't worry so much about anything. Enjoy yourself more. Don't worry about making money and blah 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 blah. Which I totally get and totally resonate with. I'm not sure I've already told this story, but I probably have. But I saw a video last week of a man asking a 40-year-old, right? So, like, a relatively young man. A man asking a 40-year-old what he wished he knew when he was 20. No, sorry, not 20, 30. So, only 10 years before. And that really hit me because I was like, wow, this is actually, I don't know, it's a little bit more close to home, obviously. Anyway, it was the same stuff. It was like, don't worry so much, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think I would say that to my 16-year-old self because I don't think I worried about anything at 16. Or if I did, it was like, I don't know, like really insignificant stuff. And I don't think I was particularly much of a worrier. Um, the oh yeah, that is a good song. Hi, Emma, happy Tuesday. Hi, happy Tuesday. Karen, what are you saying? Law was not for me. Don't make decisions. Oh, okay, law at uni. Yeah. Don't make decisions on what your teachers think you should do. Very good one. All of my teachers told me that I should just. So in Scotland, you used to do hires after like your standard grades. But if you didn't do well in your standard grades, you'd have to do int twos. And I didn't do well. So they told me to do all int twos. And I was like, no, I'm doing hires. And anyway, I was obviously right. And by the way, you can't get into university without hires, so would have been a bit of a problem. Anyway, okay, right. How accurate are watches for calorie expenditure? Not accurate at all. Yeah, I wouldn't look at them at all. Is it okay to do a full body workout 2 days in a row? Is it okay? Yes. Is it optimal? No, probably not, because you won't have had time to recover. So what I would probably do is split it up. So either you do like the majority push exercises and then the majority pull exercises, or an upper body and then a lower body type split. Something like that. Um, I want to bulk, but I also want to be lean. Yeah. Yep, I had that one. Uh, so conflicted. Do I eat more or eat less? It probably depends on your starting point. So if you have quite a lot of fat to lose, you can certainly build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Equally, if you're already lean, the likelihood is if you want to build a significant amount of muscle, you'll need to come up to at least maintenance. The problem, and I guess partly because you've used the word bulk, you might be under the illusion, probably from bodybuilding type messaging, that you either have to put on an excessive amount of weight to build muscle and be in a huge surplus, or you have to be in a cutting phase, so in a huge deficit, and you kind of swing between these two. Like, it's glorified yo-yo dieting at the end of the day. That realistically, if you want to build muscle, especially as a woman, because it is even slower than building muscle as a man, which is also pretty slow. And if you think fat loss is slow, better get patient to build muscle. Then you don't need to be in that much of a surplus because the extra calories cannot possibly be used to build more muscle. Like you'll end up just putting on a lot of body fat. And then what tends to happen is you put on so much body fat, you become uncomfortable, and then you start dieting again, but you haven't actually, like been in like at least a bit of like energy neutral or surplus phase to build enough muscle. So then you just end up in this kind of cycle of never actually building any muscle. So basically, take home, I would be in a small surplus, but it also depends on the starting point. So if you've got quite a lot of fat to lose, you can probably be in a bit of a deficit. But if you need some help with that, shoot me a message. What did you do at uni? I did sports science. Standard, obviously. Can you build muscle doing CrossFit WODs? Yes. Is it optimal? No, because you have to think about the specificity of the movement. It's not specifically the best exercise for hypertrophy. However, if you're quite new to resistance training, and a lot of the WODs use resistance training, then yeah, absolutely you will build muscle. But will you optimize your ability to build muscle? No, but it depends what your outcome goal is. How do you work out calorie expenditure? Good question. You cannot accurately. You can figure out a good estimate, which is all you really need. And then what you need to do is be consistent. So it almost doesn't really matter what your calorie expenditure is, depending on what your goal is. If you're like, I want to lose body fat, I would start with a sensible target. For many women, it's somewhere between 1,600 and 1,800 calories. If you are an outlier either way, as in you're very petite and you don't move very much, or you've got a lot of body fat to lose, then those numbers might vary, but like it's surprisingly universal. Most women will do very well on a calorie target of between 1,600 and 1,800 calories. And then from there, you be consistent and then you monitor and adapt as required. Again, like most people actually don't need to adapt from that. Like we have thousands of women do the EC method. Some people start on 1,800 calories, stay with us for 6 months, lose all of the fat they wanted to lose, and they are still on 1,800 calories. And then we're like, well done, Jenny. Let's bring your calories back up to maintenance. Nothing ever needed to change. It's just the consistency that needs to be there. Now and again, we do need to drop calories, but it depends on the person and their starting point and what their goals are. Just writing down so I remember. What to recommend when trying to eat clean to lose weight? Doesn't need to be fast weight loss, just a change of lifestyle. So I would take away the narrative that you need to eat clean. But I'd have a look at the post I did today. So I talk a bit about I call them non-negotiables, right? Non-negotiables for health, like getting in enough fruit and veg, getting in enough fiber, hitting your vitamins and minerals, getting in enough protein. Once you've got that in and you've kind of ticked the boxes for health, then you've got some flexibility over and above that. Within that flexibility, like choose what you want to eat within reason. Like obviously don't eat, well, I mean, people say like obviously don't eat a ton of highly processed foods, but realistically you won't fit a ton of highly processed foods within your energy needs if you're already getting in those like non-negotiables for health. So I think this is something that isn't spoken about enough in flexible dieting. People are like, yeah, just eat whatever you want and hit a protein target and stay within your calories. No, like you need to get in certain things to make sure that you're like, even like there's the health aspect of like the physiology side, but then there's just like how you feel. Like you will feel better if you fuel your body with healthy, nutritious foods and then take care of the like psychological side as well of like, hey, I actually quite enjoy having chocolate now and again, or my favorite thing is kettle chips, or blah blah blah, whatever it is. You want to I can't remember. Chloe has a great analogy for this, and I can't remember what it is exactly. Maybe it was like the physiological side of diet and then the psychological side of diet, and that actually you need to tick both boxes for successful fat loss, or weight loss, or weight maintenance, or weight gain, whatever, to optimize your diet. If, for example, you're in a deficit of 1,800 calories and you eat an extra 200 calories, and you then and you eat extra 200 and you burn them in the same day, are you still in deficit? Yes, You are. I would just be careful how you're assessing whether you've burnt those extra 200 calories, because as the question we just answered just said, these watches and things aren't accurate. So it might be like, oh look, you've earned all these calories back by doing a workout, and actually it's not the case, sadly. Was that in Dundee? I was raised in Dundee, now in Edinburgh at Napier Uni, studying physical activity and health. Oh, so I started a PhD with Anna Campbell, who I imagine is running that course. No, it wasn't in Dundee. I was at Edinburgh, not Edinburgh Uni. Emma, I have intense training at the end of the month around the time Commit to Six starts. What do you suggest, please? So Commit to Six starts on the 6th of February. So I don't know if that actually still coincides with your intense training or not, but Ashley, message me and I will help you out if you need. Right, I am gonna go because that was I was here for a good time, not a long time, and I have a call in 2 minutes. So thanks for the excellent questions, and I'll be back to answer. I mean, I think I answered one question and then I spoke a lot of, I don't know, hopefully some of that was useful. If anyone does have any questions about fat loss, my inbox is always open. I reply to every single message. It is always me. It's never a bot. And I am always happy to help. So